This is the plaintiff, Stephen Neferatos. He says he's known the defendant for over 60 years. And longtime friend or not, the guy owes him $25 for 2 tires he purchased for him, and he never got reimbursed. He wants to put this dispute to rest once and for all, and is here suing his old friend for just that. This is the defendant, Ken Caputo. He says he paid the plaintiff the $25 he was asking for the tires, but the plaintiff has had it in his head the price was $50. It's been like 1,000 years since all this happened. He owes the plaintiff nothing and says the guy should just get over it. He's accused of failing a friend.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that his friend of 60 years owes him $25 for 2 tires that he sold him. Get this, he sold him the tires 50 years ago, and the guy never paid. But the defendant says his old friend can't seem to remember things so well these days because he paid him the money, so he owes nothing. It's the case of being full of hot air.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Neferatos, you are suing your old friend, Mr. Caputo, for $25. Do tell.
Well, I know it's probably, when you say it out loud like that, it sounds kind of crazy, but I've known Kenny for over 60 years. We were classmates in junior high school and grammar school. We hung out in the same neighborhood, and we hung out at the sweet shop together. We went to parties, dances, girls, fights, sports, traveled across the country back and forth, down to Florida, back and forth. We're good friends, almost like brothers. And we were there for all the good and the bad through life, our marriages, our children. Even when our parents passed away, I was a pallbearer at Kenny's parents' funeral. So we have a lot going for us.
So the only thing missing was litigation?
Yes. This is I know. This is how it all unraveled. I got a new Oldsmobile in June of '69, and I needed some snow tires for it because the winters in New Jersey are pretty rough. So I bought some rear snow tires with rims, and I used them for the winter of '69-'70. And I didn't like, it wasn't a snowy winter, and I didn't like the way they rode, so I told Kenny, I said, I'm not going to use the tires anymore, and I'm just going to use chains when it snows. So he jumped on it and he said, I'd love to buy them. And the first figure that came out was $50. And a little haggling, a little back and forth. And yes, that was the car. There it is. That's Kenny with his niece, probably around 71, probably. And those are the old white walls. That was down in Florida.
So what happened?
The first figure that was tossed out there was $50, and we did a little haggling. That was the starting point. And Kenny gave me the $25. I gave him the tires, and that was the end of the conversation. But as time went by over the week, yeah, there we are when we were young. Yesterday when I was young, Roy Clark.
Go ahead. I don't remember if I asked him, I said, when are you going to pay me the other 25? Is it going to be tomorrow, next week? I never brought it up. And now from watching you, I know I should have had the crayon and the toilet paper. And, back then there was no texting, no emails. They just landed the man on the moon. That was 60, around then. So technology was not there yet. Anyway, to get to the point, after he took the tires, we ended the conversation, and he, over the weeks, months, years, decades, and half century, I've been periodically, maybe every couple of months we would talk. We talk more than that, but I'd bring up the tires, and I'd say, Ken, what about the other 25? And he wouldn't really answer, he would laugh, so it took me half a century to finally assert myself, I guess, and I just figured I'd put it to rest, and I remember it as $50. You want the other $25 because you remember
yes.
the deal to be $50. Let me hear from you, Mr. Caputo.
Your Honor, very scary. I love Steve. I love him to death. He's a brother, but we have a very different idea of what exactly happened. I came up and I offered Steve $50 for the 2 tires, which I thought was fair. He says to me, no, I says, no, what do you want, 60, 75 for him? What? He said, no, I'll take 25. I said, what? 25? I said, so we literally argued back and forth for I don't know how long. And I says, what are you, out of your mind? I'll give you the $50 for it. And I don't know whether the mind is softening now or what. I don't know what. But basically, he says to me, he says, take it or leave it, 25. So I says, all right, I'll grab the 25. So, for 25.
How long have you two been arguing about this?
Oh, my God. It's not me. It's like every 3 years, he'd come up, hey, you still owe me $25 for the... And I thought he was kidding me because he's laughing. He's laughing about it. But the funniest thing about this is he became the boys thought he was quite the negotiator. So I said, anytime we're going for a car or a house or something, you come because you're always going to jack up the price about $10,000. But this is he's got too much free time. That's the bottom line.
I find that happens a lot. So let's talk about your lawsuit. You say your buddy owes you $25. You say he owed it to you back when we landed on the moon. Your statute of limitations ran out in 1976. 1976, when Carter was president, when a college dropout named Steve Jobs created a little company known as Apple. Okay? When the VHS was invented. And you want me to look at him and say, give this man the $25. Yeah, that's not going to happen, guys. Not today. Take care. It was nice meeting you. You're done for.
Thank you. Mr. Neferatos, let me ask you something. Do you think by filing this, even though you lost the case, it'll put this issue at an end once and for all?
I do. That's all I wanted was an end to this, one way or the other. And I didn't realize about the statute of limitations running out almost 50 years ago. So, I'm at peace with it, and we can all move on now.
How do you feel, Mr. Caputo? How about that? Were you surprised that he sued you?
No, we're going to be visiting homes for Steve this weekend. I can put it to that way.
All right.
I'm satisfied. That's fine. I wouldn't want to break up a friendship for $25.
Yeah, well, boy, good for you. Good. So hopefully this will put it to end once and for all. Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, Doug, I'm going to make this short and sweet. This was a transaction 50 years ago. The statute of limitations is 6 years. Case closed.
Hey, judges, how can you tell when a litigant is lying? Are there facial or behavioral things a judge looks for during the testimony? Thanks, Wendy.
There are facial and body language things that you can look for cues, but I don't find that they're particularly reliable. They say, well, people start shifting their eyes around, if they start to perspire, if they stammer, if they look to the right in the middle of their testimony, if they...
You don't buy that stuff.
No, but I don't either. The verbal cue of, to be honest with you, I can't stand that because I always, as a judge, I hear that in testimony in court when you're under oath. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe you should be honest with me, And it's like that doesn't need saying.
Right. That doesn't need saying.
Sometimes you have people who say that again and again, right?
But it's a speech crutch. But I'm with you that I think people put too much stock in the nonverbal cues.
Tics and cues. They don't.
Some people are just nervous. They're sweating because they're nervous.
That's right.
And not everyone reacts. I learned this throughout my life as a litigator that just because someone doesn't react the way you would react, it doesn't mean that what they're saying didn't happen and they're not being truthful. So yes, there's some nonverbal cues. We all know them. We experience them either with our children, with our peers,
but no one's
with our
a human
coworkers.
Lie detector.
No. I am. But